welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a update for my Project 100 uses. I believe this is the third update, which seems wrong. This doesn't seem like it's been going on for 3 months, but I suppose it has. Now I will link my playlist for my Project 100 uses down in the description as well as up in the cards. But if you aren't familiar, the basic rundown is I'm keeping track of my usage of pretty much all of my color cosmetics, definitely all of the cosmetics that I consider fun. So, very scientific here. My biggest goal with this project is just to track my usage and make sure that everything is getting used. Because, I know that when I sat down this month to tabulate my numbers, there were some things that I absolutely love that had gotten, one use over the course of an entire month, or in one awful case had gotten an entirety of 0 uses during this month, which is ridiculous. So let's start with eyeshadow. Now I will put sort of summary statistics at the end of each section if you are particularly interested in any counts, but I'm only going to cover sort of the more interesting things in my mind. Now, the single item in this entire project that has the most use is this Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air palette. I think you can see that there's definitely been some use here, and I really enjoy this. I think a good chunk of that usage is coming from me using this shade probably 2 to 3 times a week to fill in my brows. I'll often use this shade or a mixture of these 2 shades, both in the inner corner and under my brow bone. And I do like to dip into these other shades as well. There is a really handy little neutral palette, and I think that's why it's gotten so much use over the past 3 months. This is actually the only item in my entire stash that is on track to be at 100 uses within 6 months, which I think is amazing because, there's 182 days in a 6-month period, 183 depending on which 6 months you choose. So I think it's really cool that I'm using this, 2 out of 3 days practically. Very happy with that. 5 out of 9, 55%. Awesome. Now the other 2 items actually that I have used almost 50 times are my NYX Utopia palettes, which I have used 47 times, including 20 in the last month. Now that's not super surprising to me, as both this shimmery peach and this more terracotta shade are both in my Pandos eyeshadows, so I'm making a point of reaching into this almost every day. However, this had gotten 11 uses in the previous month and 16 in the month before that. So I'm definitely making a point of using this, and I'm thrilled with that because it's beautiful and I adore this. The other item that I've used 47 times is my City Mini Matte About Town palette from Maybelline. The way that this has been getting the most use is I'll occasionally use this in the crease if I just want to blend things out without really adding much color at all. And I will sometimes set my eye primer down using this creamy shade. I Frankened this shade from the remnants of what was in this pan as well as this pan. So it's not exactly an exciting product, but it is something that's been getting a ton of use, and I think it's a great little workhorse palette for me. Now on the less successful side of things, I do think that every palette got used at least once this month. No, I'm wrong. Very Bad palette got used 0 times this month. Yeah, I need to do better about that next month. I know that this is my least favorite palette in my collection, I think, but I still like it. There's no reason for me not to reach for it. I really do like this really light shade. This dark shade is a really pretty burgundy brown. And I mean, admittedly, these two colors are not my favorite, but both of these are really solid shades. I don't know why I don't use this more often. My other two e.l.f. quads are right up there with it. I used my Hot Jalapeno quad 4 times, which I think is actually pretty good. I think that was largely because I had a blue in my Pandas eyeshadow, so I found myself reaching for these greens. I also had those peaches, so I found myself using that yellow in conjunction with those. But my pumpkin pie one, which I don't know where it is, which may be part of the reason that I haven't used it too much this month, was only used one time. So I need to find that, step 1, and then I need to use it, step 2. We'll have a 2-pronged attack. The 2 lip products that I've used most often, I believe, are pretty much the same ones that I introduced in this portion last month. I have my Wet n Wild Great Correlation Lip Gloss, which my goal for this month was to figure out exactly where I was in this product, and that was an unsuccessful attempt. I feel like I'm getting mixed signals from this because I can see, let me see if I can't show you. My ring light is definitely perfecting things to an extreme, but I can see some amount of windowing all the way down to about here. And I don't know if that means that I'm really close to done or if things are just sticking to the side. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like this will just run out one day and I'll be surprised, but pleased. The other lip item that I've used quite a bit is this Just a Tint in the shade of Go-Go. This is rolled all the way up. Yeah. There's so little left. I almost wonder if I could finish this by next month's update, but I think certainly I'm not going to get to 100 uses on this. I'm at 31. Yeah. I don't think this was going to last anywhere near 100. So with both of these products, I am pretty much on track to get to 100 uses within 9 months. So that's great. They're both going to be gone before they hit 100 uses. Probably, I think. I don't know. I don't understand how lip gloss works. It seems like it disobeys all the laws of physics, as far as I understand them. I feel like I'm a broken record again. My least used lip products, yet again, were my liquid lipsticks. My 3 Sephora Mini cream lip stains, as well as my 1 Maybelline matte ink. And I think a lot of this is that I have been home so much. I am not going into a physical location for work or school, so I'm just around my house a lot. There's no need for me to have something that's super long wearing because it's no hassle at all for me to go to my mirror that's, 5 steps away from my desk and reapply. I am rather disappointed that the shade Rosy Garden didn't get used at all this month until today. I'm wearing it now. It's my favorite lipstick, but yet I didn't wear it a single time this month. And that, I think, is the really valuable portion of this project. It doesn't really matter how long it takes to get to 100 uses, but I do care that my favorite lipstick was sitting in a drawer for an entire month, not getting used, and I didn't even realize it. I suppose I could have sat down and really thought about when I'd last used each of my products, and I might have been able to tell you it had been a while, but I certainly didn't think it had been a full month before today. I could tell that I was feeling the neutrals this month. I look at what I used quite a bit of, and it's Can from NYX, which is this sort of deeper nude on me with a little bit of pink. I've got my NYX Tiramisu, which is a nude gloss. Sassy Mauve got used, I think, 9 times, so 1 out of 3 days practically. And that is a very mauve, it has a bit of like a grungy, almost 90s, very fall feel to it, but while still staying quite nude. And I think that makes quite a bit of sense. I've been getting more used to and more comfortable with wearing really bright eyeshadow. So I'm not really at the point, at least yet, where I want to wear bright eyeshadow and bright lips. So I find myself toning down my lips a little bit, and it means that my nudes are getting a lot of use. However, it does mean that some of my brighter and honestly favorite lipsticks are getting neglected to some degree. Now, I've actually done a pretty good job of spreading use among my cheek products. The product that is still ahead of everything and probably will stay ahead of everything until it is finished is my Tarte Harmony blush. I'm kind of working towards panning this. I mean, I actively want to, I'm just not really focusing on it. I used this 9 times in the past month for a total of 36 uses. So this is also in that club of things that are on track to be finished to hit 100 uses in 9 months. My other powder blush, Rosé Champagne, is lagging behind a little bit in terms of total uses. It is at 32 compared to 36 for Harmony. However, Harmony got used 9 times in the past month, and Rosé Champagne got used 13 times. So it's gaining. It is gaining. However, I feel like summer and fall is definitely the time that I will be using this the most. I feel like this is going to take over a bit more as we get further and further into winter. And the one new purchase I made in any of these categories actually is my Make a Glow highlighting palette from Wet n Wild. When I tabulated my results last night, I had used this 9 times, and I've only had it for about a week and a half. I think I've used it every single day since I bought it, and I'm really liking it. It's very pretty. So now let's get into this little junk drawer category. This has 2 liners and an eye primer in it because I didn't know where else to put them. Now, the Kat Von D tattoo liner I have used 2 times in the past month for a total of 10 uses. I suppose I'm at 11 now because I'm clearly wearing some winged liner today. Now, I only reach for that shade if I want to do a black wing. I will quite often do a colorful wing, in which case I'll just use eyeshadow, and a lot of the time I don't wear eyeliner at all. So I guess it makes sense that I've only used it twice in the past month. I'm in a similar spot with my Wet n Wild Black Brown. I've used that 11 times. That is a pencil twist-up liner. I've used that 11 total times, 4 of which are in the past month. That's fine. My NYX Glitter Primer I have used 7 times in the past month for a total of 19 times. And it's oddly consistent how many times I've used that per month. I used it 5 times in the first month, 7 times the second month, and 7 times again in the third month. So slow but steady progress, and I think it is great that I'm getting that amount of use out of it, because that means that I'm using one of my glitters about once a week, which is fantastic because for a very long time before I owned that primer, I owned a couple of eyeshadows that had quite a bit of glitter in them, and I never used them. I love that this purchase has enabled me to actually get use out of some of the things that I already owned, but wasn't using at all. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching this project and just seeing how my usage has evolved over time. I would be very interested if any of you guys are doing a similar project. I would love to hear about it, and I hope you will consider liking and subscribing if you've been enjoying. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!